Yeah, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva mentioned that he appeared 32 transformation to help sentient beings. If there are living beings who desire to be lord of the universe, to rule over the realm of the gods, I will appear as Sakka to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goal. So, yeah, whoever want uh, to be king of those deva, Sakka is the king of the 32 heaven, 33 heaven, you know, right?
Mm-hmm. The Tri-Streamsha.
Yeah, that's where the Buddha ascend to teach his mother up there in one summer. If there are living beings who wish to run freely in the 10th direction, I will appear as Deva to teach them the Dharma, to that they reach their goal. You know this, Deva?
Ishvara. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Is that an embodiment of Vishnu?
Yeah, it's his friend. Let me type him.
Or is it like another name for Indra?
Um, oh, let's see here. Risvara. Uh, Here, let me share with you. This is the god. This is the Hindu god. Ashwa. God understood as a person. Lord Shiva. Oh, he contains Lord Shiva. I'm teaching the Bhagavad Gita. Israel is the supreme ruler, it's greater. Okay. And in Buddhism, let's see how. Brahma and actionless, ruler of all action. Okay. So anyway, so this adaptation of one Hindu god into Buddhist tradition, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So please, I read two. You read two. That yeah.
There are living beings who wish to fly freely in empty space. I will appear as Mahesvara to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals. There are beings.
Sorry.
Mahesvara. Yeah, when I was involved with that the teacher Saima, we would do chants with Mahesvara in it. One of my favorite chants we would do had Mahesvara.
Oh, really?
And I always thought it was a manifestation of Vishnu, Mahesvara, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I chanted that song a lot, but I'm not sure who Mahesvara is.
Mahesava. Born from the brows of Bodhisattva. Buddhist help people perceive it. Okay. All right. So he help yogis doing Kundalini. Okay.
Hi, what are your thoughts on Kundalini Yoga?
Which
Are
one?
you familiar with Kundalini Yoga?
Not much. Yeah, not much. I heard about that, but not much. I don't pay attention much about those are not belong to Buddhist practice. You know. Mm. You know about this one, right? Or no?
Yeah.
What's about?
Uh, that the practice is designed to awaken this energy that is said to be at the base of the spine,
Mm-hmm.
and it's depicted as like a snake that's coiled up at the base of the spine. And when it's awakened fully, it rises up through all of the chakras, going out through the top. And there's an experience of like, they'll say like cosmic consciousness, this
Mm.
like vastly expanded consciousness, and a purification of the energy system of the body. And some frequently that is followed by some sort of like supernatural powers, like some limited clairvoyance or some sort of
Mm.
other my like minor supernatural power.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please, the next one.
They are living beings who wish to be lords of ghosts and spirits to protect their countries. I will appear as a great warrior to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals.
Mm. Yeah,
Hmm.
so beloved ghosts and spirit. So how could relate to the war here?
That's because they're talking about protecting their countries.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what are there are other sutras that talk about helpful spirits like at the time of birth, like this earth spirit that helps protect
Mm.
the child and the mother. Um, so I would think that the most noble aspiration of a warrior is that of protection. So
Mm.
if someone wants to be a protector, that a warrior could be a inspiring symbol to them.
So how do they relate to ghosts and spirit then?
I guess because they can protect as well. Like
Mm.
there are protector spirits and ghosts that help to work behind the scenes
Mm.
to protect people.
Mm. Uh, I don't know whether you know much about the Asian tradition, especially Chinese one. You know Wandi, the Chinese general.
No.
Wandi. All right, let me type for you. So, yeah, yeah, Chinese general. You don't know about him?
No, I haven't heard of Guandi.
You know about the uh doing the what do you call the three kingdoms, the warring in the I think in the third century. You know about it? Guan Yu or Guan Di is so famous that many, not most, many Chinese temple put his statue in front of the temple, on the front of the temple as Dhamma protector because he's famous in loyalty. So somehow Buddhism allow him to be one of Buddhist Dhamma protector because people respect him of his loyalty to his emperor. You don't know about this story? No.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's funny. It's one day. So his very famous one. Okay. He you have time. What do you call three kingdom? three kingdom pillars right here. It's for
Mhm.
so you heard about this? Three
No.
kingdoms, you don't know about this?
Mm.
Yeah, here three kingdom pillars here. One is about the third century, third century, and Guandi is one of the famous general. So according to the Buddhist story, somehow one day he will chop up the head, and his spirit came back and haunt people and look for his head. So somehow his spirit came across a Buddhist monk, and the Buddhist monk say, "Well, now you're free. Why do you need another head then?" At that moment, he left. And so somehow Buddhism, I mean the Chinese Buddhist um, people adopt him as one of the Dharma protector.
There's a another story kind of like that with the
Mm.
monk who liked to leave his body.
Yeah, I told you, and that's different. Yeah,
And then another story like that with the master who his disciple gave him chicken soup because he was weak and sick. And when the master found out it was chicken soup, he got so angry that he died at once.
mm,
I think Tia Fap told me about that one. And it
uh-huh.
was the same sort of thing where he was like haunting the place until maybe
Mm.
he wasn't actually a master, but he was the teacher at that location. And
Yeah,
yeah.
if you read Chinese history, you would come across this what they call Three Kingdom pillars. It's so famous. Most of the Chinese people know. When you talk about Guandi, they know. And actually, nearby my school, University of Houston, they have what they call Guandi Temple
Hmm.
right here, just even less than a mile from my school, right here.
Oh,
Yeah, and I used to tell, you see this? You see University of Houston, and there's a temple here.
yeah. And there's an Avalokiteshvara out front.
Here, I used to tell my student, if they take my Buddhist class, they're not supposed to go there because confusion. They plans the three tradition, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. They
Hmm.
worship everyone over there, but only for the Asian uh, religion student can go there because it's just the combination of the blending of what do you call the Chinese religious traditions.
Hmm.
I don't recommend my Buddhist student, Buddhist class, Buddhist student to go there because of confusion. They
Hmm.
have a lot of doubts why we worship Quan Di and so forth.
Hmm.
Anyway, yeah, this is not too far away from our university here. Yeah. Anyway, so again, go back to what it's about here. So the reason why it delayed to ghost and spirit because whenever the warrior die, they become ghost and spirit to protect country because while they are alive, they protect the country. That's the idea. Why after they die, they will be promoted as God and spirit to protect country too. That's the whole idea. Even in Vietnamese tradition too. Many famous general people think that they live forever. After they die, they would be spirit and ghost, so that they can protect the countries.
Hmm.
This is strange. You don't know. This is the first time you heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. That's why it's just the Chinese and Vietnamese tradition. I don't know much about the. Actually, the Japanese one they do have. I don't know much about the Korean, probably the same. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Let me see him. It's my turn, right? Okay.
Yes.
If there are living beings who wish to rule over the world to protect all its inhabitants, I will appear as a Deva king of the four quarters to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals. So, yeah, who want to rule the world, right? So he will appear the devil king in the four quarters. Uh, it's strength for you when we talk about Buddhist cosmology. We talk about the four quarters, not for the whole circle.
Hmm.
You don't know about that?
Um, I've never thought of it as strange.
Mm.
Just like it's the David King of the four quarters. I guess I never really analyzed that too closely. Um, yeah, what does it mean by the four quarters? I mean, I would just think of like the four quarters being like all of an area.
Mm.
Because if it's each a quarter and you rule all four of them, well, you rule the whole, you rule the whole thing then.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mm. I think I showed you this chart before, right?
The Mount Sumeru chart?
Mhm. Right here.
Yes.
And here. So we are, according to the Buddhist view. Let's see here. Mm. We are in the southern Jambu, southern here. There's a four quarter here. They have the northern, they have the uh, eastern. Is eastern and the western. What they call is south. The four quarters. Uh, you hear about this? You have a
Yes. Yeah. In the cosmology, Teofap went over the different lands, the other three lands as well, and kind of the blessings of those beings and how they lived and their lifespans and
Mhm. Yeah,
mhm.
and that's what they call the four quarters here. And
uh,
they draw the yeah, this is one. They draw the mandala based on about this. Anyway, so that's what they lay here, the four quarters. So if someone want to rule the whole world, so he will appear Devil King to teach them Dharma. If they are living beings who wish to be born in the palace of devils to command ghosts and spirits, I will appear as a son of a devil king of the four quarters to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goal. Uh, so if someone want to become a devil to come and ghost, but somehow he said he will appear as a son of that devil king to have influence on the king. Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm not sure where it appears the son of the king.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if they wish to be reborn in the palace of devas, not necessarily. Oh, I guess because the son of the king would be like their goal. If they just wanted to be born in the palace, not necessarily be the king, then the next best thing would be the king's son,
Yeah,
because he
but
could become.
yeah. So anyway, so if someone want to be born in the palace deva to command ghosts, so he will appear as the prince, right? A son of deva king, to teach them at the high level, right?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, please.
If there are living beings who wish to be kings of human beings, I will appear as a king to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals.
Mm.
It's pretty straightforward. If there are living beings who wish to be heads of clans to enjoy the respect of their clansmen, I will appear as a respectable elder, Grahapati, to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals.
Mm.
Also, that would be pretty straightforward.
In the West, they don't care much about whether elder or younger, right? Because it seemed to me that they value the beauty, they value the strength, they value the youth, not much with the elder one.
Hmm.
Is that right? In the East, it's quite different.
Definitely for entertainment. Absolutely. In entertainment, it's very much beauty, youth. And in politics, there's definitely some old people who aren't very handsome or aren't necessarily beautiful in the traditional sense. And the presidents are really old.
But you see that somehow we have a lot of laws, all kind of laws to protect the children. But when we talk about elderly people, right? Yes, we have that law too, but somehow when they retire, right, they would not have much say. They have not much power in society and communities or families, right? It's quite different from the East.
Yes. Yes, that is, I agree. Yeah, on the family level, yeah, frequently they're not, if they don't have the strength to assert themselves over others, they're generally put aside. Yeah.
That's why I don't know. Yeah, most of the tradition, except the West, value the age, right? Because the older they are, the more knowledge and wisdom they have. But in the West, they don't focus on that. They put this way, uh, they may be disposed, right? It's trending up, right?
Mhm.
They may be disposed whenever they getting older, whenever they retire. That's why so many of them they so lonely in the nursing home. And yeah, somehow I feel sorry for them, and I don't know. We need to have some kind of compromises. In the East, we value the older people, but in the West, somehow we dispose them. In the East, we don't care much about the younger one, but here, right, we protect them in all ways. That's why you mentioned that. Sorry, somehow in the West, we focus on the youth, on the strength, on the anything that beautiful, uh, something strong. But when people getting older, weak, they may be disposed. Mm. And do you know why? Why they have the kind of tradition? You know why?
Here,
In the
like
West,
that one.
in America,
Um,
where's that?
hmm. Why is there a lack of respect and valuing? Where does that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
From Christian tradition, from Catholic tradition, from European tradition, what? I don't know much about
I
that.
mean, the first thing I think of is in the Nordic traditions, the Norsemen. They have the tradition called Atestup, where when a person becomes a certain age, when they can no longer contribute,
Hmm.
they jump off of a cliff.
Really?
Yeah, it's called the Atestup. I can spell it here in the chat. I
Hmm.
think I can spell it right. Atestup.
Where's that? In Europe? In which country?
Like Atestupa. It's like I think around Norway in the areas in that region.
Mhm.
I know the Inuits would set people adrift. The elderly, they would put them on a piece of ice and push them out into the ocean
Really?
when they could no longer, yeah, when they could no longer contribute.
Really?
Yeah,
It's it's thousand year history, thousand year culture.
I think so.
Hmm.
I don't know the details. I just remember learning about it growing up. The Atestupa I learned about more recently. But yeah, it's a really ancient. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure like thousands
And
of years.
and how about the idea? And how about idea that for the Arab people, when they retire, they're supposed to go to nursing home. When did it start?
Yeah, it does seem to be like a an American thing. There's this whole idea of like of freedom and enjoying your life and not being hindered by someone else. But it's variable, you know. I know like our grandmother stayed with us in my
Mm.
dad's house, and my brother, when she couldn't go up and down the stairs, he still lived at home and he would carry her up and down the stairs. And my dad never made her go to a home. My great aunt, she wanted to stay in her house. So she lived and died taking care of herself in her own house. Um, but yeah, I know a lot of patients who it's too much. Some of my patients, they bought the house for their parents right next door to them. So they have a baby monitor so they can watch their parent and without having to live with them. And it's so there are people who really do value them, but why culturally is it so? I think we have a lot of distance in a lot of our traditions. There's a lot of isolation is created, a lot of individualism and just seeking one's own pleasure,
Mhm.
not in connection with others, but just like one's individual pleasure. So, do you have ideas about it or thoughts about what the root of it is?
Mhm. It's just the minority of people that keep their parents or grandparents home, right? Majority of them, either they send their parents, the grandparents to the nursing home, or they go by themselves, right?
It seems like that. You know, I don't know any statistics on it to feel really confident, but it seems very common that they're not gonna people don't have the grandparents living in the home with them.
Yeah, that's why we carry on our tradition of remembering the parents' kindness of filial piety. So most of the Asian parents or grandparents, they love to stay with their children, grandchildren. It's happened that their children send them to the nursing home, but somehow most of them default to stay back. In Eastern tradition, in Asia, in Buddhist tradition. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know that's one bit different. That's why many or most elderly people, when they could not function well, they feel so lonely, right? It's feel
Yeah.
sad. Mm,
Oh yeah.
mm. Yeah, in our country, yeah, again, in the East, not only in Vietnam, but also in China, India, and so forth, they value the wisdom of the elder people. That's why here in this passage it mentioned about what do you call uh the elder, respectable elders, right? The respect of their clanmen, right? Yeah, so the older they are, uh, mm, the easier for us to respect them. They follow that kind of, we can say, hierarchy. All right. Yeah. Uh, is that your or my? I forgot. Was that your?
It's your turn. Yeah.
All right. If there are living beings who enjoy discussion, well-known, sane, and practice pure living, and will appear as respectable scholar to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goal. Okay, so whoever want to uh, discuss with some scholar, right, and practice a pure living, he will appear as a respectable scholar. Um, so again, in this culture, right, in American culture, they may not care much whether you're a scholar or common people, right? Everyone's equal, right? What do you think?
Mm. I in many ways I agree. There is it depending what circle someone is in.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, there are certain groups of people who would listen to and respect someone who is a scholar more than someone who was just like someone who hadn't done special education. But there's the opposite as well. There's a whole trend towards distrusting someone because they have a lot of education.
Mm-hmm.
So it can really go either way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so everyone is in the equal right, right? Whether they scholar or they are common people, whether they are daughter's son, they're unequal right with the parents, right?
Mm.
You think that what they promote?
As far as like voting, once someone's old enough to vote, then they're equal in that sense. With on YouTube, they're equal.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to like do well on YouTube, doesn't matter if you're a scholar or not, if you're older or younger, you can do well. In society, yeah, I think businesses may even tend to probably shift a little younger on average,
Mm-hmm.
especially more cutting edge businesses like tech businesses aren't going to tend to hire as many older people as they will younger people. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
in the big business or a big corporation, they may like to dispose or let go of I mean the older employees, right? Because they're slow, right? They want to
Mm,
hire the younger one, the fresh one, right?
hmm.
But here, in the family levels, in the family's circumstances, so somehow I don't know whether it's just hidden rules or hidden implication that we let our children to have equal right with us, or we expect some kind of respect from them.
Mm.
American culture wise.
Yeah, it's much more equal than
Yeah.
it would be in other countries where there's more of a like this is even like Lisa grew up in Jamaica and the what her parents expected of her a lot different than what we expected of Samaya. There's stuff Samaya does that if Lisa would have done it as a child, she would have gotten smacked. Like yeah, just so yeah, I do think so. We're not as demanding of respect. Yeah.
So you will you, I mean that do you teach her some kind of I mean that guide her is to have some kind of respect to the parents or kept equal right? What do you think?
I do try to find a balance there. So I don't try to create a sense of distance.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes the idea of respect is also accompanied by a sort of um, distance that there's some fear involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't respect, then there's going to be a negative consequence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more interested in her feeling loved
Mm-hmm.
and then like feeling love, me being loving to her, and then she's just like loving back. That's just like her nature, and she's considerate. And we're playful. Occasionally, when we're playing, she may cross a boundary, and I'll have to let her know because she's just. But it's usually mild. It's usually not anything bad. So I think. I think respect is sort of a natural fruit to valuing, in my experience, valuing my daughter and respecting her and creating appropriate boundaries
Mm.
and having good actions myself that she can see in my life. I think it just grows respect without me demanding it from her generally.
So
But she doesn't always listen to me. I can tell her to do something, and sometimes I have to tell her again and again. Like, she doesn't fear me, which I think those two things do get confused, respect and fear.
mm,
Um, yeah.
yeah, I don't know why American education system don't focus or emphasize on the kindness of the parents. So much work of the parents that they put on their children, right? Uh, in your case, for example, right, you find or you spend right spend money for her private school, and what when they get older, they may not care much about that. I don't know why. Why? Uh, why? I still wonder how could they why don't they focus on this type of teaching so that the children can appreciate what they have. Otherwise, you see there's many spoiled children. They get taken for granted that the parents need to serve them. Mm.
And I wonder if it has to do with sometimes things are in place of time.
Mm-hmm.
So frequently, like children who have a lot of material wealth, they're very poor in their relationship with their parents, in the sense of their parents don't spend time with them. Like, you know, I know someone who grew up with a really wealthy father who was able to provide everything that they needed materially, but like never went on a walk with them, never taught him how to shave, never like sat down and talked about life or challenges, things like would never really was in the role of the father beyond the providing of the material wealth. And I think when it's used as a substitute for that sort of love and connection, I think it can do something weird where then maybe there is more likelihood of some sort of lack of appreciation or resentment, even though they have a lot.
Mm.
I generally have the sense that, you know, if the parent is really present and is giving of themselves in a deep way, and there is the material present, I think the child's much more likely to be conscious and appreciative of the material in its right place because it sees that I think you can see that the relationship is so much more valuable because material the child can grow up and get a job and make money and get the material even if the parents can't provide it, but the child's never going to be able to find someone to give what a loving parent gives for, you know, the entirety of that child's life. So I think maybe that's part of the seed. We make a compromise in our culture in pursuing material wealth. We often sacrifice our families.
That's what is lack here, the moral or the ethical approach, right? Uh, the uh, um, the morality that the young people need to learn in school. Of course, at home, depend upon the parents, like you say, if the parents take care of them well to provide the material comfort as well as the mental or spiritual comfort, yeah, they have more chance to get their children support when they get older. But the point I want to mention is that there's no system in place, no moral system that teach or guide them, like in the
Mhm.
East, like now, Vietnamese culture, or even you say Chamaka, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I think they have a type of moral system there to teach them when they're still young to appreciate whichever the elder, especially the parents, provide to them. Right. So it's I know, especially whenever we have parent appreciation day, we try to promote this type of idea. But for American people, this feels strange.
Yeah, I don't think there is an equivalent in Christianity.
No,
Like I don't I'm trying to think like did we ever really talk about that in Christianity about the kindness of the parents? Because I grew up going to church.
they don't
I don't
promote.
think so.
They don't
It's
promote.
Jesus. It's always Jesus.
No, only one God figure. That's all, and the rest they don't care. I think that's the root of the problem, right?
Hmm.
But in the East, the Buddha say, well, you need to take care of your parents before you worship me. So that's he mentioned about the root of our humanity, the root of our morality. Without them, we cannot survive, and that's why I think people more. I mean that they focus more on material than morality, than how to live together as human. It's just based upon the wealth, based upon the status, and so forth. Probably because one of the influence from religion, we don't blame completely, right? But that's one of mm, uh, the views from Christianity. They just worship one God. They don't care much about the parents.
And there was a point in history where one could pay to get into heaven.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I don't know. Hopefully, we can instill or even keep up this kind of tradition that the children, the youth need to appreciate what they have. Otherwise, if we keep based upon material life, we're machine, not human. Keep making the money, just make love, just enjoy food, drink, and so forth. Mm. Anyway, let's go back here. Yeah, that's why I somehow it's feel right for me to ask this kind of question, and you are the one who bring up this
I'm
question.
happy to. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Mhm. Yeah, so basically, so it's a great influence on how people live, right? I'm talking about the religion in the West, right? Christianity and Catholicism, they have that kind of big influence. The reason why they don't care much about parents in general, right? Yeah, we cannot blame totally on the religion, but in general, that's what they have a kind of influence. They can worship God.
I think there's a missed opportunity there for sure to focus more on the importance of that.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, please. Yeah.
If there are living beings who wish to govern cities and towns, I will appear as a magistrate to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals.
Hmm.
If there are living beings who delight in practicing mysticism for self welfare, I will appear as a Brahmin to teach them the Dharma so that they reach their goals.
Hmm.
And yeah, in this, you're seeing Avalokiteshvara's willingness to meet beings where they are
Hmm.
and to develop positive affinities. Because even though that wouldn't be Avalokiteshvara's ultimate wish for them, but if someone has their mind set on a goal that's good, it's not that they're not bad goals, they're good goals to help them achieve that. And then eventually they'll probably want to achieve something that's maybe at another level.
Hmm. Yeah. When it's we're young, I mean that when it was slave mm, person, and I come across to this type of passage, it made me wonder. There's no way for me to believe that, but of course, the older the more experience I have, so I can recognize as Bodhisattva appear in every aspect of life to guide us, right? We come across someone on the street, um, we come across governors, policemen, and so forth. They can give us some kind of good advice, right? Um, mm,
Yeah. Yes, the nature of the bodhisattva, it's like the individual it can be a almost like a conduit for that spirit of the bodhisattva, even if that individual is not actually consciously intending to practice the bodhisattva way or always living up to bodhisattva ideals, but they may show us a facet at the right time that like serves us in our development, or guides us on the way, like that sort of idea of like a of the bodhisattva having, you could say, like having some influence in that moment, in that situation, that interaction through that person.
mm. And even we miss some of those people, but according to how we view them. If we view them as Buddha and Bodhisattva, they would act like Bodhisattva and Buddha, right? If we view them as horrible person, horrible people, right? According to our views, right? We can see them in that way. So
Oh
of
yeah.
course, it's just everything's depend upon how we view other people. But of course, on the top that we have some bodhisattva who really actually appear in that type of frame and that type of appearance to teach us. And for me, yeah, again, uh, the one that helped me to teach at IUS, I mean, in Indiana University of Southeast, and even University of Houston. Yeah, they are my bodhisattva. Without them, I could not get into the door. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Lee, you met her before? Viner, you know her?
I
Probably,
don't think so.
yeah. I used to invite her to have lunch during uh, New Year lunch. Yeah. So anyway, so one thing is, yes, if we see everyone as bodhisattva, we would not disrespect them. You know, we would uh, support them whenever we have chance. But of course, they may or may not are bodhisattva in a sense, right? Mm. Yeah. So everyone in Buddhist view, everyone uh, can be bodhisattva if we can see that way and we can learn from them. That's the whole idea of this bodhisattva who appear in any kind of forms to teach. Even a suggestion, a word, even complaint of a child, we still need to listen. Even a sense and or a complaint from a homeless person, we still need to listen. And who knows? There are manifestations of Bodhisattva. We don't know. Uh, that's why oh, in Lotus Sutra, the passage, the chapter non-despair Bodhisattva, right? Remember that?
Oh, never disparaging.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
To say he, I don't dare to look down upon you. If you do the practice diligently, you become a Buddha. That chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's,
They would like throw sticks and rocks at him and he'd run away until they couldn't reach him, and then he'd yell back at them. He's like, I'm still not mad at you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even now in our standard in our modern time, right? If someone does that, we would think that they're crazy, right?
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
that Bodhisattva appear. and that's why we need to learn their spirit, not to look down upon anyone else. We have that kind of humbleness, so that we can learn from anyone that come across our life. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can stop here today then. Yeah.